How's it going, everybody? My name is James Loud, and welcome to another episode of the James Loud Podcast. Today, my special guest is Caesar from Norcal Genetics. How you doing?
Good, dude. Chilling.
So yeah, Caesar's he is Norcal Icy Mag at Instagram. He's been posted for a long time. You've been in the cannabis industry for how long?
I don't know, like all my life, really. That's all I've ever done. So
Forum days.
Well, this is before then, but like I would say like I'm about to be 40, so like probably like 22 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
At least something like that, maybe.
You've seen the evolution from...
I've seen multiple evolutions. Yeah. So I was lucky to like come up with a lot of the pioneers in the industry. Like Eddie Lep was a good friend of mine. And I was just young. I was like a very I don't know, just enthusiastic about the game. There was certain people that were like pivotal and like within like my... it's just me, it's just weird. Like I just feel very nonchalant about shit nowadays, but it's like I was very passionate about this a lot. I still am, but like as far as like when I was younger, I was like fucking on fire. I was like
in it,
yeah. And I was like hanging out with Eddie Lep. I met him at like shows and stuff, and then we went to Amsterdam together.
Yeah,
he introduced me to like Soma, Arion. It was cool, and then I also was like very observant as far as like how the industry has played out and whatnot. I actually had gone out over there. It was like 2005, I believe. We went for the Cannabis Cup, and I was just over there. And I was like, they should just do this in the States because I think we were just kind of maybe taking off, or maybe I'm not sure, but I was like, dude, I'm paying 22 euros for this like a gram, and it's really just a tourism thing because it was worse than like even commercialized stuff. It was commercialized stuff. It was probably what's gonna happen to here, and like I don't know however long they were already doing it there because they were just doing all sorts of stuff. They weren't even testing, I don't think.
Well, they don't have testing. They have really shitty growing climate.
Well, they didn't have testing back then either.
But I mean, they have testing possible now, but they're also going like the legal route too. They're allowing like legal grows.
Yeah. No, I heard all sorts of weird stuff. Like back then, the Dutch stuff was like getting like, they could even say they had like a crystalline like spray that they could spray on it to make it like look like more sheeny.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like, so you were I don't know if it was like super shardy like glass. I don't know. I can't say I even seen it. I was so foreign to me at the time, you know?
Yeah.
But when I was over there, people were telling me about this, and I was like, and then I also noticed the migration rights as far as like how we were closer to like Africa for like Durbans and like, you know, Hindu, like for like, you know, all those regions and whatnot. It was just the migration route was a lot easier for them to get to like towards Amsterdam area than to get all the way over here.
Right.
So it was more typical to be able to be more closer to the source when you were out there, you know?
Yeah. So Icy Mag, do you still have your copies?
Oh, what?
Icy Mag, the magazine?
Oh,
did you ever have copies?
No. I think I maybe got one. I forgot I was even. I didn't get into it because it was a magazine. I don't even know how I got
the forums. It was the forums, right? So
yeah, but I didn't. One of them. There was the publication part of it though, like you know.
Yeah. So Icy was International Cannographic magazine, and I still have copies.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Yeah. No, I mean, I was just more of you know, just like I said, just like passionate about like showcasing what we were doing at the time, which was very like minimal in a sense,
right?
You know, we
had good weed back then in the Bay.
I think I know. Of course, I think it was if you're growing your own, you were, but we were just so used to all the commercially produced imported stuff. Most of the stuff was not domestically produced because the laws were not necessarily
right.
Like they weren't allowing it, but it wasn't like now that it's lax, everyone's just like, oh, just throw some out there, like you know, 50 pounds at the end of the year, like it's nothing. It's like. I guess nowadays is the way that the prices have plummeted. It isn't as much, but back then you could make. I remember, paying close to like $5. I remember I got pulled
5,000 for
outdoor.
Yeah. For outdoor, totally sour diesel.
No, this is just like regular stuff. You know,
really regular.
Like, it was literally. I remember there was times when it was a drought. Like you couldn't. People don't.
There was real droughts.
It was like there was no work. That's the bottom line. And like so, it's like either you have to adjust to this transitionary period where like the prices are going to adjust just like nowadays.
Yeah.
Or like no one's getting work. No one's working. And then everyone kind of slowly started going into it. Then, I don't know, when I was like hustling and stuff, I was one of the, like, basically like the first person that I knew of that was doing like $40 rates. But then it was like no breaks. And so I was still getting like $320 a zip, you know? So it was like, all right, whatever. Like, and then people were hella mad at me, like all the like local hustlers, whatever. But I was taking all the business, you know? So whatever. Shit.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Dosido. I didn't know that Dosido was your genetics. I always thought it was from Archive for the longest time till just
Archive
recently.
Made it. He did the pollination.
But you did some pheno hunting with it, like that's.
Yeah, basically it was just an agreement where we were just supposed to like split the seeds, and so he gave me the seeds.
Yeah.
I did my I didn't do marketing or anything at all. It was just we were documenting already the form and the animal on the forums.
Right.
And so like when I had gotten the OGKB, I was just told it was cookies, and I was like, this plant doesn't even look the same because the form and animal were similar.
Yeah.
The form was probably a bag seed. I don't know. This is all just speculation. But so you can't quote me on this shit.
They could all been bag seeds. We don't know.
I think it was because the animal was always more tightly held, and like it was known as a more
animal
yielding
cookies
one.
from Sirius.
Nah, I mean,
well,
I can't. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know.
Right.
All I know is it's animal cookies, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, but Sirius, my homie, like recipes, But
absolutely.
I'm just saying, like he was definitely known for it. Put it that way. But as far as I know, they were when it first hit the scene, everyone was like tripping because it was like kind of the new coming from OG Kush, like as far as like the next thing that like supposedly like the next holy grail,
right?
And it actually still is, like to be honest with you, like. But
who's growing it these days?
That's ironically everyone's asking for it still.
Totally, people
like not still, but there's now because everything's cyclical. It's like it's fashion, it's trendy, And so now everyone wants the original. It's like the original Girl Scout cookies was a bag seed, anyways. They don't even know how it is. That's why everyone's into this Durban poison and shit. Like most people, you ain't never smoked Durban, dog. Like,
I smoked real Durban. We had it back in yeah. So we smoked real Durban, and it had anise. The Durban, like I have some Durban here today. Actually, we were gonna smell.
I have anise at home. That actually, sorry. That shit's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, so this is Durban.
But
the Durban that I remember was like straight anise and musk, and it was a little hazy, but it wasn't like this kind of haze. Whereas this is more like the haze flavors that they know today. There's maybe a little bit of fruit in there, but like, and it's softer.
Yeah.
So, because
I couldn't tell you what I remembered as. Like some certain things are very nostalgic to me, but that one I remember smoking on it.
Yeah.
It really wasn't a big deal back then though. It was just because we were there and it happened to be something that was an offering from Africa.
So check this out and tell me what you think of that. So we're going to do a little bit of comparative tasting today, or comparative smelling. It's kind of like how I do palate training. I'll do like, and Haze is a great example because there's that terpenoline, limonene that's so dominant with the Haze varieties.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, and so that's a softer, that's got a nice soft smell to it. We got some super silver. You have super silver?
Yeah, I got some
nice.
from Chris.
Yeah, and so the next one we got is some Jack Herrera. And then this Jack is real interesting, but different than the Durban. And then, you got some sour Durban.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is not the actual Durban. And I couldn't even tell you this is like the real Durban. This is just fire in general. But I could see it definitely being as far as Durban because you tell me. Because I just smelled this and I told you it makes sense.
See, so this is much more Durban smelling than this.
That. Yeah.
From what I remember. But they still both have a nice...
Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie, that haze, that Colombian undertone, right? So I like it. It's fun. These kind of strains,
dank.
So now the funny thing is like with comparative tasting or comparative smelling, like what we're doing. So super silver haze. Now this one is by far. This is from Flame.
From Chris.
From Chris.
Some of this stuff is like. And so this is what I was buying. So I was like,
a lot of people think these smell exactly the same, but when you have them all side by side,
differences.
Yeah, so you smell them, and then you go back and smell them, and then you really notice the differences between them, because the terpenoline and limonene and some of those other terpenes really cancel each other out. So then you start, totally. But if you go from that to smell that right away without smelling the coffee, you'll notice that smells different because the strong haze nose cancels it out. So now all of a sudden you get these like it's like a little bit of fruit I get on there and maybe some earth. So it's interesting when you compare, because people think hazes all smell the same, and it's not true. There's some stronger than others.
You have to have seen enough to actually know the subtle variances.
Right.
You know what I mean? Other than that, it's just kind of like for me, I mean, runs like I don't know. I'm not into all the hype stuff, so I really haven't. I see it when people come to my crib or something. Usually they go to the club and spend money on it, and then like I see it. But I have homies that'll be like, "This is this runs," and like
and they all are very similar. I was just
told runs. So I don't even remember if they told me white or black.
Well, there's so many renames, right? So the cut fishing and the rename shit is just it's gone.
I mean, that's prevalent a lot with the East Coast brands and shit, you know what I mean? Like it's like you won't know where the most of those strains came from. There's very few that are actually gonna be able to tell you that. They're gonna tell you where to buy it and like how it's the best that you've ever seen. And whatever. You never seen anything better, and they're doing something special.
Yeah.
But they're, they can't tell you about the weed.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a while they were renaming Blue Dream. I remember that back in the day. I was like, it was all the same shit.
I know Bubba was going
Same
because
thing.
everyone on the East Coast was getting like, it was just typical. It was like I knew Bubba's, like I was like I could see because there was so much was going out there that like they were gonna start calling it cookies, and eventually I was surprised that they were able to do it because I had heard of people doing that, and I was like, no, that's just Bubba because I had seen some of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't know what I don't even know how the fuck people are still messing with Bubba, really, but
I like the pre-98 Bubba Kush.
if it's good,
the real Bubba Kush that you smoke it down to the roach and it still has that gassy, soapy taste. I like it.
Yeah, no,
but
those are the stuff that we had back in the days.
You don't see people producing that anymore. I haven't seen
it's not even
real
around.
Bubba on that level.
Who kept the plant alive that long?
I think it's that one's probably
not
still
many
around.
people.
Not many.
I mean,
people.
I can't say nobody did, but
and it got replaced with the other Bubba Kush that everybody knows today as Bubba Kush. That's not as good. That finishes in like 50 days.
Yeah, no,
53 days.
back then it was 42 days, pretty much. Like everything was 6 weeks.
Dude, so
it was just
crazy.
like, yeah, we were on. It was like money making schedule. Like those flower rooms are 24 hours, 12 hours a day on, 12 hours off all the time.
Yeah,
that's it. 365 days a year. Excuse me. But and then you just keep the veg room stocked and just keep the flower room stocked, and that's it. And then like we went through monocropping. I mean, sea of green. Like a lot of people think like SOG is screen of green when it's sea of green, which is like completely different. Screen of green, a lot of people refer to it as like the trellis netting and whatnot.
Sure.
And screen of green is like, no, we used to take 4x4. Everything was ebb and flow back then.
Yeah.
And it was easy because it was like you didn't have to be there all the time because we were just there's too much going on.
Sea of green, but the real sea of green. I mean, people think of the scrog as sea of green when it's actually sea of green had ebb and flow, and that was a whole different world.
So we used to do the 4x4s, like I think it's 64 per 4x4 or something like that, and we used the 4x4 rock
small
cubes.
plants.
Yeah, just like a lot of people don't know. They're like, how? Like, and it's just like you could flip it whenever you want. You can flip it before you like while you're trying to clone it.
You grow in rock wool, or did you grow lava rock? What did you do back in the day with that?
I did everything.
Did everything? Yeah, I kind of like the lava
right now
rock.
I'm on soil.
I'm
just hand watering soil. I'm gonna probably set up irrigation system like later, but I don't mind.
I always thought soil tasted the best.
Yeah,
as long as soil's
it's my personal stuff. Right. So it's like why not? It's like fuck. Like it's the rock wool for me is just more of it's more easier to dial in on a commercial scale. Like I'm very familiar with it on that scale.
Sure,
but like the home tip is definitely always like I don't know. It's just for myself, anyways. For my homies.
So you've been breeding for a long time.
Or
working with pollen, working with
that's saying like I always looking for something better and like all that like I'm never complacent with like mediocrity but like I'm always looking for something better, and so it just kind of came along as a natural progression between like at some point you hit a point where you're not really you might be getting like I remember I was getting really good weed that I was spending money at the club, and then one time, like I said, there's certain people within your life that like are kind of pivotal in like in motivating you into like going in a certain direction. And I was just a young kid around here in the city, and I remember there was like Planet Earth was on Castro, and they had the warehouse on Dorman, I believe. But there was West Coast Growers, this guy from like Mendocino who came down, and I walked in that room, and it was like it was all automated, like everything. Like he had like lights on like the turners, and like they would go like fucking. I was like, what the? And everything was on drip. I was like, what the hell is this?
Fully automated.
Yeah, and he had like it was the first time and he was selling these the tray stands with like this is like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
like just shit that like to this day is still actually like I don't know, not really that just kind of catching on maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that far off from what
we just used to use the little Asian like I guess stools or whatever, but like just flip them upside down or whatever, and there's still the tray on top. So we just like
Yeah, we used to make wood benches. Like we did wood for a long time. Wood's not the most sterile,
and it was
but
also it was just a lot of work, and it was just like when you're shutting down spots and moving, you don't want to have to I just had to do a spot where we had to take apart the wood tables, and it was cool, but destroy it was like a demo team that had to come through to take that shit out.
Right.
And then I have to throw away all that wood, which supposedly wood at the time was actually really expensive.
Yeah, now we have rolling tables and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So OGKB, was that your first big that was your first big cultivar?
I guess it's mainly just because
that's the one I remember attached
just because of the notoriety with it, I guess, but It's cool. It's a good strain. It's definitely really good.
It's a good smoker. It looks crazy. It's one of those ones that has a really mutated kind of look to it.
Yeah.
But it smokes amazing. But it's a good breeder too.
So like basically it was back to that. We were just documenting the form and the animal, and then it was like OGKB. And OGKB, a lot of people are like, they don't know what it even means. It's actually OG Kushbred. It's like like an ode to like his handle. Because he's my homie, and so I got the cuts from him, and he had told me they were cookies, and I was like, "How is this cookies, dude? Like, what? Like, we have cookies right here." Yeah. And he's like, "No," and he actually OGKB like knows like Cookie Fam and all them. He we used to run like the Hemp Center and all that shit. They all know each other. Yeah. But anyways, came into my possession. Those guys at Cookie Fam were all like, I don't know, they raised some sort of like flag to them or some shit because they were bugging me about it initially. And then just kind of turned into like this whole shit show that was like really I just had nothing to do with. But that was really it. It was OG Kushbred. Like a lot of people don't even know that, And it was just like literally just a way to differentiate the cuts. Yeah. There was nothing like cool about it. Like, oh, we're gonna make this the next cool strain. It was just name it. Just like I had a plate that had an animal, form, and OGKB when I finished it, Yeah. And that's it. It was a way, and you can also tell the plant because of the fact that the plant grew crazy. Yeah. And Justin, he got that plant, and it was pretty battered.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yeah, but he got
lots of pathogens. Or?
When you can ask him about it. I haven't really talked to him about it, but like, yeah, I mean, it was still doing all right in my possession, but I definitely wanted to have it backed up as soon as I could. Like, it was getting older. And when I had gotten it originally, it was probably to this day, like one of the worst plants I've ever seen. Like, wow, it was screwed. And I was like, I flowered some of it out because I had to like bring some flowering plants from my place and all this stuff. And it was, it doesn't throw many like it doesn't take pollen very well. There's a lot of like non-viable seeds.
So I feel like there's a learning curve too. I've never grown it, but I feel like there's
not going to look that far into it. Like, I mean,
I've seen shitty versions of it where people grow it out and you could tell it's the right genetic, but it just doesn't look good. It looks like kind of shreds in a bag. Like,
yeah. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's all grower, dude. Like, for sure. Like, Powers says back in the days, he said, you never know the power until you flower.
Yeah.
So, and then I harvested it. We figured out that it was like all other guys that were running the cookies too. They were like, oh shit, like this is cookies, like for sure. This is like something else, but it's cookies. Yeah. And like unmistakably. And then it just kind of took off from there. I never really gave it to nobody just because. Not because like I was trying to hoard nothing. I actually gave it to homies that helped me out, like even just like moving things or something like that. Just like whatever. I'm just like that. Right. I don't give a shit.
People didn't give stuff out as much back in the day.
No, they were definitely. I was just never. I'm never
hold stuff close.
I'm just and that's rightfully so. You do whatever you want to do, but once you let something out, it's gonna be out. Like that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Like don't get mad.
Once it gets out, it's out.
Yeah, like, yeah. I'm not gonna get mad at if someone gives me a clone and they're like, oh well, you weren't supposed to do this. It's like then don't give it to me. Like I don't want to fucking have to keep tabs.
That's always been.
Yeah. I got workers at my crib or something, or like that old whatever. Like my homies, like they know whatever they just take some cuts, whatever. Yeah. I don't fuck.
Yeah, I mean, we try to hold stuff close still. So there's stuff that, and now with the legal, it's like we have to.
It's a little different now because everything's there's things are worth a lot more money, and there's a lot.
You start writing contracts.
Back then, it was like a ways. I mean, even the contracts are not really. I mean,
it's not 100%, but at least with contracts
for all that shit, and like you gotta have the money for that. And if you're really going against a big dog, like a big company, it's a little harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, so But now there's a lot more value within like the intellectual property that you possess, you know. Mm-hmm. So plants are just like a very like grayish area, So
sure,
things get out, someone's helping somebody and then something gets out and then everyone starts hoarding it or like whatever.
Or someone finds a seed in it and then that's out. I think that's happened quite a bit over the years. Sometimes the seeds are better than the original.
Yeah. And it honestly, like, it's like, I get people all the time too, like about like OGKB or whatever. And, they're, like they'll send me pictures. And I'm like, I can't tell you like, this is mine. You didn't get it from me. And I'm not saying you had to have gotten it from me.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you out of a picture.
You can't validate things.
Yeah. They really just wanted to be like, oh, like so-and-so said, it's like, it's his cut. And I was like, whoa, dude, I didn't say all that,
Yeah.
Like, it's, but I always tell people the same shit. Like,
Instagram doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah,
That's
never
for
does.
sure.
People want to show you what they want to tell you.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff looks good on Instagram, but then you go to smoke it and sometimes the first hit tastes good, or sometimes it doesn't taste good at all.
Tons of stuff looks good. Like I said, like
Tons
all
of
this
stuff, yeah.
like all this new stuff. I call it like Ireland smelling weed, you know what I mean? Because it's like when I was like back in the days hustling and stuff coming up, we'd get the shipments coming in and whatnot, and there'd be the gas and there'd be the fucking bland shit.
Right.
And there would be some shit was just full of powdery mildew. We had no idea what the hell that was. We thought it was crystals.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't. Like, that's, you know, and then fucking people that did know, they weren't really telling you. They were trying to get rid of their work.
Yeah.
You know?
Jerry Krzyzewski was saying he's been smoking powdery mildew since he was 4 years old.
Yeah,
He's
people
just
want to
fine.
act all holier than thou, bro. Like, you're eating fucking vegetables with DDT laced, like in the 90s and shit, you know? Like, you don't, people don't understand how manipulated the plant is and how you actually can manipulate it and how far it can actually go, and how far it has yet to go, really. Like once the other factors come into play,
for sure.
You know? So yeah.
So you got some flower to show us today.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. We have. Let's see. This is a Do-si-dos. That's from Chris at Flora Flame.
Yeah, this stuff's great. I feel like Moonbow is one of my favorites. Like when done right.
I've seen it like a couple times, and I never actually got it from Fletcher himself. But like whatever I did see was good. Like, you know, and it comes from reputable people, so I trust their judgment. You know, and that goes a long ways to me too. You know,
where it has the frost of the Dosi, and then you get like it's not like Diet Skittles. It's like got complexity. You smoke it, it tastes amazing. You smoke it down to the roach, it still tastes good. And there's a bunch of different phenos that are all pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it, like I said, from like modern day, like whatever we know, nutrients have a lot to do with all that stuff.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So, and like growers, you know, so like you can see the genetic potential within a plant if you grow it really well once. But if you might have if it's really good, you know, I think that's what cookies actually kind of revolutionized stuff in a sense, because it was able to like bring along that brand name. Like it came at a time where weed wasn't getting that much money. It was on the way down, and it actually, everyone was starting to pay for seeded packs again. Yeah. Like what the fuck?
Seeded packs, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy. But like it carried on that thing, is it definitely had that bag appeal. Like, and it was it did have a different taste, interesting terpene profile, you know. So yeah, and then there's this.
Smoke some of this?
Yeah, sure. Anything good.
Yeah, so Flora Flame, I feel like it just keeps getting better and better and better. I mean, Living Soil, he was on the show.
Well, it's supposed to get better as the more you use it, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah.
My best run was 8, like back in the days, we used to toss everything, so we would never dream of some shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's like farming. That's how you fucking farm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's a little more, you know, labor intense.
For sure. The cure on this stuff is so nice, though.
Yeah, well, you got a refrigerated fucking fully.
Yeah, he's keeping it below 60
Yeah,
degrees.
he's doing everything right. Yeah, there's no, like, yeah. Yeah.
What else you got over there?
The Poison Gushers, some jet fuel gelato.
Dude, I'm a big fan of that Poison Gushers.
Oh yeah, I like it too. Like, I honestly, like, I get I've had a lot of that and the sherbet from, and honestly, like, I like them either way, but Poison Gushers is usually my go-to. Yeah,
it gets you high. It gets you really high too. It's nice. I think it checks the boxes. For me, it checks all the boxes. I feel like it's got the flavor.
Here's some Fritter. These two right here. Let's see. Sorry. So these are interesting because this is from my homie Nas.
Yeah.
He does home shit. He does fucking good work though. I've been holding that shit for like 2 weeks.
I don't remember the Gelato 25.
It was he got in on it kind of early.
I remember the 23.
I think there was like 45 and then
there was a 33, which is probably 33 and the 40 were my favorites, but the 45 was pretty cool. That was like super purple.
They were all like not bad. It's just nothing like, for me, it's gotta be something that's like is
they got blown out
like
too.
Like there's certain things that did like game changer shit. Like I see it and I'm like, wow, like I like that a lot better. Like I would almost make this a staple on a menu. That stuff too. So
apple fritter is like one of my least favorite genetics. And the thing is like it smells so good and it smells like apples. Yeah. You get this apple pie smell to it. But the problem is when I go to smoke it, you don't get that apple taste. And that's the one thing I don't like about it. I think it's great. It looks good. but it's not my choice. You know?
I feel like a lot of the apples and bananas. I mean, this stuff was grown like immaculately though. But I feel like yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just like it's like it all comes down to basically whoever grew it best. You know what I mean? Like
I'm a huge fan of the apples and bananas though.
Yeah,
I feel like it's got that.
That's what I was gonna get at. Is like
but it's not super apple-y either. It's more like GDP kind of nose.
It reminds me realistically of Afgoo.
Yeah, it reminds.
That's where the terpene
somewhere
profile,
between the wildlife, the
to
Afgoo, and GDP. That's kind of.
I just know like Afgoo was probably closer down. Like that was one of the. I used to grow that stuff, and it was like kind of big. At
Super
the time.
sweet.
That aota,
all the above. That shit was. Yeah, so you were growing back. That's a way back. That's early, like early to mid 2000s.
Yeah, I'm old, man.
Yeah, I feel you. So the aota, yeah, I mean, I think so. The Afgoo was sweet. And it yielded, and it was super, super, super frosty.
But it's
compared
when I
to the
smelled
other
that
genetics.
apples and bananas, I feel like that terpene profile came through. Like I said, it's
I've been looking to get that real Afgoo back, but the Afgoo that we have is different here than it is overseas.
Well, I know originally it was a big Humboldt staple. Like totally. You know, that's where I got it from originally. My homie up in he has Shepherd's Meadow. He does super great work with his farm and whatnot. He's dope. So yeah, he that's kind of how I got into a lot of this stuff too. You know, he was one of the first people that was growing.
Dude, that aota, it won a cup in like 2006. Not a Canada High Times one, but one up in Sonoma.
Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah, all of the above. That was a good one.
I mean, this is a glitter bomb. So this is from Sens. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the glitter bomb. I like the glitter bomb.
It was basically, I mean, I just approach everything the way I do, man. It's like I had done some outdoor runs with OGKB, and then I pollinated them, and I still have a bunch of those seeds too that I still got to sort through. Those ones though, I got down to like there wasn't that many of the OGKBs in general.
Yeah,
because like there was a lot of non-viable seeds, you know. So I did that to a Blu-ray headband that I did, and then I grew those out, and I gave Chris the female that I selected.
Chris from Compound.
Yeah, Chris.
Yep. Chris.
And then I just went over there and then just I was like, yeah, dude, let's fucking make something happen. Let's see, cross to one of your males. And
nice.
I didn't know if they were, I didn't foresee like them taking it like as far as marketing it the way they wanted to market it, which is great. They did a really hell of a job. But it is good weed. It's like
it's eye candy. It's got that. Yeah. It's definitely photogenic.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like if it wasn't, I'd be like, I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you,
Yeah, it's got unique terps too, for sure. It stands out in a bag.
Yeah, But
my only complaint is you take one. The first hits taste amazing, but down at the roach on the refire, it doesn't taste quite as good as some stuff. But initially, the flavor is amazing.
Again, and
that could be grower. I mean, that could be cultivator.
I always default that because that's kind of what we've always been told, and everyone else wants to spout that. So it's like, but the reality is like I've seen a lot of good stuff through Athena. Like I'm not gonna lie, like there's no reason to lie. Like I've tasted good weed from pretty much probably every nutrient company. Never had a complaint. There's very little. I remember like good weed better than I remember bad weed that way. That's a good thing.
Memorable when stuff is memorable.
It's just like, when it's bad, it's like, oh shit. Like, I'm not gonna name no names, but I gotta like, I met these dudes. They had a really flashy booth and all this shit. Talked to them. They had like a touch screen and all this stuff and all that. I was like, damn, dude. And then he's like, yeah, we got these pre-rolls. I was like, okay, cool. They had like, he's like, yeah, you can take some. There's a couple in there. I was like, all right, dope, dude. And I was, smoking on the way home. And then like, yeah, it was pretty bad. I pretty much couldn't smoke it. It wouldn't save it. So
wow.
Yeah, and I'm not one to complain much. I'm not really a snob.
I think if you're gonna do a pre-roll, you got to do it right. Anymore it's so competitive. You want an amazing pre-roll. I mean, whether it's to show your brand off that you're just giving away, or whether you're selling them, it doesn't matter.
Like people tell me you have to do like the whole giveaway shit. It's like I'd rather just give you my shit if I really want you to have it. Like, I don't want no cheap shit with my name on it.
No, that's silly.
Like, I want whatever you're gonna get is gonna look nice.
I mean, that may have worked in the beginning of rec or medical in 2012 where you could give stuff away and people were happy, but
I use they're not going to come back. And then I feel bad because as a person that pays for this sort of stuff, I mean, this shit's not cheap. I don't ask for prices. I just want it done the way I want it. Yeah. And like, unfortunately, that if people want to buy it, that's on them, but it's going to be quality. And it's not going to be, you're going to get like, you should be happy with what you get, I think with clothing, it's easier to it's kind of easier to convince somebody that it's good than
It's more subjective with clothing.
Yeah,
too,
no, than actually than weed too though. Weed can be
be
super
subjective. It can be super
Everything is subjective.
Yeah, we all have different palates.
Yeah.
And what one person likes, I would say everybody's gonna like cat piss if you give them some cat piss. I like cat piss, and I'm sure
I'll still try it here and there. Like I wouldn't go and buy like a pound to smoke it to the face. Silver Haze, like I probably would, and then I'd have homies that come.
I smoked a bunch of that super silver.
Yeah, I've probably gone through a good amount.
Yeah,
I like right when I saw, it, I was like, boom, this is like cannabis cup. Like, wow,
it's old school.
Yeah, this is old school.
It's everything I like about Amsterdam.
Yeah, no,
it's right there.
Yeah, no, and then like Soma, like he had like a lot of people get like they had a NYC Diesel. He did Soma.
Dude, the grapefruit.
A lot of people, the grapefruit,
man. That shit was fire.
But people still think that's like a diesel type of like.
It's not diesel though. That's not diesel. That's so far from diesel. Yeah, no, it totally frustrates me too.
It's like you don't know then, like when did you start growing? Like what?
Yeah, I bred that into the Sage and Sour. And
see, that was from DNA or who was?
That was from TH Seeds. Right?
They were like one of the first shops in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah,
they were the first from the States.
Yeah, they were
sure.
then, because I remember that's exactly right around the time they had moved out to Amsterdam.
Yeah,
had, like right when I had gone out there.
710, Adam and I are doing a drop. Sage Against the Machine crosses. So I did the work. Adam's promoting it. He's doing the packaging. He's putting his beautiful touches on it. But yeah, it's
nice, dude. The Sage and Sour is definitely very it's I had my homie I have another homie that when I was young, he had brought some weed down here from college. I was like, oh damn, this is fire. Oh my god. I was like, bro, I can get rid of like 10 pounds right now. Back then that was a lot.
That was the best dispensary weed that I've ever smoked, like I've ever bought. And I used to go back and buy these guys in Santa Cruz, I believe, used to sell it to Harborside. Yeah. And it's not like sour. It doesn't have the sour structure. It has this very like the way the calyx stack is kind of like sour, but it's more like Williams Wonder, one of those ones that's really podully.
Mm-hmm. The calyx almost.
The calyx, just the way they stack is very unique.
Yeah.
That stuff smokes so good though, but it's smoked like sour. Like the pheno I like smoked a lot like sour. It was like a sweet sour diesel.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's very blend between both. I feel like a Sage, like I like it, but when it's burning, it's a little too offensive. But I like kind of getting the whiff of it when I pass by. If it's just sitting there, because I'll be at my house, my homie left some at the house, and I'm like, why do I keep smelling this shit? Like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh, and I was like, it's not lit, but I could smell it, and it was right there in my kitchen. Like, So, but the sour, I love sours. I'm like sours. I would do it for myself all day, 10, 11 weeks. I would just do it. I'm just like, really, I just going to put out whatever I like. And like, you guys choose what you like. And if you don't, then fuck, I just need to find a new career.
I used to grow a bunch of sour. 11, 12 weeks every time. I never let it just go 10. I feel like 10's cool, but like you really got to let it go at least 11. And I felt like the best was 12, but.
Back in the days, yes, because you could actually let your shit go for 3 months and to get good money for it, regardless.
Well, a lot of times I'd only go one strain, so I'd want it to all finish, and it's not like I'd have half.
We were monocropping for sure. There was certain like Legends Ultimate Indica LUI, like that was like a super monocrop, like straight yielding. We were, like I said, we were throwing roted cuts straight into 4x4 rock wools, throw them into the like get them all ready for flower, throw them for like 2 days in there, and then flip, boom, and then you'll start seeing roots. Like you'll end up with short stocky plants, but you're gonna end up with no larf. It's all like fucking Tola buds, champion nugs.
Nugs.
Yeah, that's pretty much like that's my like everything with my cultivation is like tops are all champion nugs if you want to pay for something in a jar, which I do. Like I like it, and it's like this is like champion nug shit right here, and everything else just gets like processed within the best means possible, And then at the end of the day, I'm learning like, it's pretty competitive out there, But at the end of the day, I'm not really trying to compete with nobody else, And I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody else. Just
but it's better to just compete with yourself.
Yeah, I'm my biggest critic, and I don't take offense to nobody. Like people hit me up all like, and it's like whatever, man. Like it ain't.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's like you don't like it, cool. Like I respect that. Like.
Yeah.
I don't like fucking avocados. People are like, you're crazy. I'm like, I like guacamole, but I don't like avocados. No.
Wow.
Like, Everyone loves avocados. Apparently, they got avocado toast and shit everywhere now.
Dude, avocados. It's one of the most popular fruits in the world.
No, I mean, but that's like more new, dude. Like,
yeah, I like avocados though. That's great.
No,
avocados are good on every. I mean, I'm a big fan of eating avocados in the morning. I feel like
I just you know, but also, I mean, your taste changed. Like, I didn't used to like onions when I was younger. And
avocado ice cream.
Oh man, that
seems weird, but it's really good actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of the green tea. That's why I think if
you like green tea or ice cream or no?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Green tea ice cream's great.
Yeah. Some mochi. So yeah, no, we have like here's like we got the clothing and stuff going on here. This is like how it comes. It's a black compostable bag.
Yeah, so you got a lot of your merch stuff that you're launching soon.
I figured I'd bring it by, show it off real quick.
Awesome.
So we got our little baller or these clone boxes. So when you buy clones from us, they'll be coming with a individually tested certificate of authenticity, or not of, basically of its pest and pathogen free. Sorry. And then you will also be getting this for like snips. We bring them in these rose vials. So you're
it's cool
for some to snip, ship snips, and all you people, you guys can go ahead and buy it away.
It's the first time I've seen a snip shipper. But I mean, a lot of people use the clone shippers and wrap them up.
Do it in paper towels?
Oh no, the best way is in a gallon baggie. But that's if you're sending multiples. Like for singles, that's perfect. Gallon baggie, no paper towel.
Here, really,
Yeah.
You could just throw a bunch of these together and send it off like that.
Yeah, polyethylene bags. I like polyethylene bags with almost no air in them, and you can even put them in the fridge. A lot of people don't understand those slips are pretty durable.
Oh yeah, that was like on the cusp of like everything kind of going a little bit more, and me getting involved and whatnot, I guess, and whatever I was doing.
We had some stuff called the juicy fruit that came down. I'm not sure where it came from actually now at this point, but it came to the Bay and we got it, and it was like Skittles on the level of the sweetness of the Skittles, but it was like juicy fruit bubble gum.
Like the gum, yeah.
Yeah, it tasted just like, it was juicy fruit, and it tasted like
the gum. And then I started noticing everything started getting called juicy fruit.
Yeah, dude, and then there's a bunch of fake juicy fruit that's gone around.
And I didn't know at the time, like, like it was...
Renamed Golden Goat.
I didn't realize weed was a plant. Like, like my mom caught me growing weed in her closet, and she was like, she was wondering what the hell that light was. And then, and she's like, what is that? I was like, oh, it's just plants. And then she's like, she's like, oh, is that weed or whatever? And I was like, well, yeah. And she's like, but that's not weed. That's a plant. And I was like, yeah, it's a plant. And that was probably a little bit after I figured out that it was a plant. And I was like, she was like, oh, wow, it smells good. And, but she never smoked weed in her life or anything. She really didn't like it at all. She does not want this for me.
So you started with one light or two lights?
I started going into that store, West Coast Growers, and I was like, oh shit, like, whoa, like, damn. So I get home, and I was with my chick at the time, and I tore everything out of my closet. I had like a cool, like, probably like 3x5, I would say.
Oh wow.
And I was doing soil, so I did 2 6s in there, and I like drilled the holes and I didn't even know how to operate tools. I was so young, I was like banging away. It was like 1 a.m, and my mom was trying to go to sleep. My girl was like, all the clothes was everywhere, and then I had a portable air conditioner in there. That didn't last too long. Like, obviously my cable bill jumped up crazy. They you don't think about these things. You just want to remedy these problems.
Going up nuts.
Yeah, and it's creating heat as a byproduct. So the room was hella hot, and then I was, like, like I said, I've tried everything. I've wasted a lot of money doing it too. Like I used to be that person buying 30 bottles of different like now things I feel like are more simplified.
So much more simplified. We used to have these long recipes
that would like do certain things for us. We had to like figure out how to do it.
I always got my best results from when it was the least amount of stuff, though. I didn't need
less moving parts.
Things. Yeah, and then you could.
But
really
you don't want to be turning your lights on and off every day, like. Right. So a lot of timers back then, they wouldn't even handle the amperage of like a 1,000 watt light.
Right.
So like it's. Yeah, they made them better, but like there's other things like controlling your CO2. I was running that closet with CO2, and then I realized I had to do a closed loop. So I was running the air through the lights of 2600s and then going back up in the roof. Yeah. So I would be pumping it full of CO2. And then I was running BioBiz nutrients. I mean, I love that stuff. It just doesn't hold well in reservoirs at all. So
I think the newer how long has it been since you used bio?
Oh, that was my first thing. That was my first crop.
They've changed. Their stuff is definitely.
Oh yeah, of course. They were just introducing
improved.
the bio heaven, I believe, when I kind of started veering away from it.
Wow.
And then I went on to cutting edge, and then
I like cutting edge still.
Yeah, I like cutting edge because they're local, and I like and they're cool people. I've talked to them.
Yeah.
And I just don't like. I can't. I mean, moving barrels of nutrients is not. You need a forklift for that. So right. It's like I'd rather have a lot of powder, and it's a little easier.
It's better for the earth for one thing, but
yeah, I guess I mean,
I think it's better. It's better for your back, better for the earth. It's better for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think. And there's interesting products that aren't made with salts necessarily, but I like salts. I think it's if you're gonna go that route, if you're not going living soil, you're going with salts.
At the end of the day, I try everything, and like there's like I couldn't say I was disappointed in anything really. If it was because it didn't.
If I'm doing seed production, I'm using cocoa and I'm using salts typically.
Yeah,
and I experiment with a lot of different things, but that's pretty much.
Yeah, I like cocoa a lot. But like I just don't like using, like the dirt that I got was from Buyout 365. They do a pretty good job about like what they're doing. I'm really happy with their dirt.
I would use that here, but I can't do it because it's not sterile. That's the only thing.
Oh, is it?
Well, I mean, you can get bugs potentially.
You can get bugs in any dirt because most dirt is
no, sterile cocoa and rock wool. We do rock wool mostly.
Sterile it?
Yeah, it's sterilized.
Yeah. See, back then, like we were just doing royal gold defaulting, and we were putting our bags in like black contract bags and loading them, and that's why when powder came into play, I was like, you could just do this instead of carry a 6-gallon, like 3-part nutrients, like it's like 50 pounds a piece.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I've tried to like house and garden, I all sorts of stuff. And
3-part?
The house and garden?
No, 3-part.
The Lucas. The original. It was always Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, there was an original 3-part, but
yeah,
like most people, if you knew, you know that you didn't have to buy that to grow.
Totally.
So yeah, like it's like you just get by on the micro and the bloom, and yeah, and I mean, I still know people. I mean, it worked. It's like it's not gonna go anywhere. Like it's gonna work. Like so, we used to use Jax, like out of Home Depot and shit.
Yeah,
it worked.
Jax was good. That was the blue stuff, right?
I don't even remember, man. It was like a long time ago. I don't know if they still make it. I think it's actually
the 1-part.
They have it in agriculture houses. You can get it in like a lot. Yeah. Yeah. And it worked. I could that's why I kind of really want to do these blind taste tests where I would purposely use that sort of stuff. And then,
for sure.
And it's like there's no names attached. It's like completely blind. Like, and it's just a hangout. Like we'll have an event. We'll have a hangout. Everyone will be chilling, smoking, whatever, comparing notes. Maybe have a questionnaire with each one, like check some boxes. And then they all get thrown in, and then the results get calculated by a computer. Yeah. By the numbers, and then we go by that. Nice. That's what people chose. Yeah. And so if you don't like it, then you're the minority. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is I never got like there's always some sort of clandestine like sort of like I don't know, like it was always like very like held. There was always events that I feel like were held out of the public, Yeah. Like, and I just want to keep everything like everyone shows up with their harvest like freshly cured. Growing all my strains, we see how it's grown. We can compare notes on who's growing what. Right. We can all kind of help each other grow better, So I'm just looking for like a venue at the moment and get started on that. I have like a lounge, really like ultimately like I don't really go out much. And I smoke a lot of weed now, like a lot more. Yeah. I'm not.
Drink less, smoke more.
I don't drink at all, but yeah.
That's great.
Once you stop drinking, you realize how much it costs, and you're like, damn, like.
How much money you can save by not drinking.
All my meals are like less than half off. I'm like, what? And then, that's. Right. That's one thing. But before it was like, oh, I'm waiting at the airport. Oh, I have a drink. Everything was a drink. Oh, it's like soda now. Have a drink. But like it just adds up, and like really, it's not a good look.
Yeah, I'm still trying not to drink. I don't drink a lot. I drink now and then, but like even flying,
everything
if you fly first class and they offer you a free drink, it's like, oh, it's free drink. But
yeah, no, I mean, that was a problem too. Is like I was on planes so much. I would be in, yeah. So it was, and you can be smoking. So, but either way, I'm looking at venues currently and whatnot, and like we're waiting for things to like. Taking it slow. I'm gonna find the right place.
Do you think you'll get a lounge in San Francisco or Bay Area?
I would like to. I mean, that's where I'm at. Yeah. So yeah, it's not cheap though. But
it's not cheap. I don't know. I feel like it's getting cheaper.
I mean, I don't plan on making money. I mean, a lot of people ask me like about like, oh, how are you gonna make money? I'm like, I don't think about throwing anything to make money. I mean, I might bring stuff and like if it's a cool place to like showcase things, but I'm not really a salesman like that. It's like if I see things and I want them, I'll get them if if they catch my eye. So that's why I want people to like what they're grabbing.
Yeah.
So it's like I appreciate the support always, but like, yeah, like, I mean, it's like if I could break even at the end of the month, and like if I throw in having a Friday, Saturday, going and chilling there at night, bring my dogs, maybe, like
breaking even is tough because if you end up losing a bad month, then it's like I don't know.
I lose all the fucking goddamn time. Yeah, I probably lost more money than I made. It's just like this point I just do whatever I want to do, and I mean things kind of. You do good work and you do work, you're
still here.
Progress.
You're still here. You're still passionate. A lot of people threw in the towel. I mean, I've seen a bunch of my friends. I don't even see that as a reality.
Like I don't, even if I didn't make any money off of weed, I like it, So,
yeah. You're passionate about it.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things
it's
that
part of you.
I don't see me taking on another career where I would literally go into like reading I never read a book in my life probably before. I probably stuck by school, never reading a book. I mean, I used to read like Goosebumps or something, but I read every publication out on this. Jorge Cervantes,
all the weed books, but
nobody even knew it was Robert Connell Clark.
Yeah.
Because Jorge Cervantes was Robert Connell Clark, right?
No. Robert Connell Clark is Rob. There's
because Jorge Cervantes. Ego.
Yeah, it's Jim. It's Mel Frank.
That's really Jim. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just remember seeing Okay, yeah. So I got it mixed up. Yeah.
But those guys and Ed, they put out the grow books back in the day.
Yeah, I have all
those. Those were all great. They were all good. They were all interesting. I mean, I think some of the stuff is outdated, of course, but I mean, that's just how
it was the beginning of an industry.
Yeah,
it was in its infancy stages. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but some of the stuff still holds true. A lot of it is really nostalgic for me. I'm still working on my breeding book. I think we're hoping that it's done.
Yeah, the last one I think came out, the Greg Green's Breeder's Bible. I think is what I read.
I got a breeding book that's full on breeding, everything about breeding. It's we got a lot of pictures that are going in that our photographer is really dialed in. So building the facility at the same time is really helpful when you're writing a book because you can do step by step and actually show the parts, the cutting clones. You can show that. You can show germinating seeds and all this stuff. So
yeah, no, I'm very big on like taking pictures of things that are progressing, and then you can kind of go back and pick whether you even want to put it up or what you want.
Totally, and showing your work isn't a bad thing. I feel like showing your work, showing that you're actually doing the breeding, you're doing the work, you're doing the pheno hunts, all that stuff is great. Yeah. People can talk about it all day, but show your work.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like, and honestly, like I'm not like you said about the whole breeder question, like. I wouldn't consider myself a breeder. I breed strains. I look for better, and I do what a typical breeder would. But I don't really spend too much time like making lines and all that. Mm-hmm. I just kind of visit things, and if they work and I like it, then whatever. I'd actually rather spread it out and get it to people. Yeah. Like I said, like with my weed, like I have my homies come through. I want to see what they got to say about it. Like it's like I don't want to smoke it all to my face.
But you're looking for winners and you're popping seeds.
Yeah, well, that's why I buy this too. So it's like, I want to know what you think about these winners. Some people are like, oh, this kind of smokes black. And I'm like, but it's good weed. And it's
I feel like the hardest part about breeding is actually finding the winners. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's the real.
Yeah, I see a lot of losers. Part. Like,
I see more losers than I see winners. That's
that's the one thing. Like, I'll post about grow room failures, like, or like pests, whatever. Final product, like, like it's like, it's very subjective as far as like what you're gonna get.
Well, there's keepers and winners, and then there's complete like that aren't gonna work. It's like,
it depends on what you're looking for too. And
sometimes in a 10-pack, but the thing is that's so subjective because there's a lot of times I'd pop a 10-pack and not find anything.
Oh yeah,
and you can call it a keeper, but it's not going to be something that
I've been lucky to run a lot of good stuff. Like Fletcher's old stuff, I don't know. I haven't ran any of his new stuff really because I haven't. There's definitely stuff I want. It's just more of like, I have to get it. So, and I've been busy doing other stuff. But
Adam up in Portland at Archive grows amazing.
Yeah, they sent me a couple some seeds too. But like, it's also like I'm dealing with some stuff right now. Like, where I need to like pretty much. I'm not gonna crack those until I got a clean space to do it at. And like usually my place, I like do a lot of my projects experiencing. I bullshit a lot, like, just to see how things work out. And I really will probably kind of know how it works out. But,
you still like experimenting.
Yeah, I do. I love it. Like I love doing things on like, I remember we used to grow in like laptop cases, like Like, you know, like
Right.
yeah, like, you know, like I like the micro aspect of it. I've done the big and done really dope rooms.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool, but it's a lot of work. And like, I honestly, like, I don't, it's just, it's hella complicated. You deal with a lot of people. It's, you know,
Right.
yeah.
Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on today, man. It's been
Yeah,
it's
no,
been
of course,
a pleasure
man.
talking
Thank
to
you
you.
for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
Oh, yeah, anytime, dude. You let me know.
Where can people get a hold of you if they're looking to get some seeds, genetics, clones, all that
Oh,
stuff?
so norcalgenetics.com, www.norcalgenetics.com, which Obsolete gave me that that domain name.
Nice. And then on Instagram, you're
NorCal_ICMag, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I try to keep everything the same. I'm not going to be changing names and all that shit, you know?
Totally.
If you don't see my brand no more, then you still see my weed. It's going to be somewhere, you know? Like,
Cool. And then you got clones out there in the rec
yeah, we're doing
world
everything. You know, I got a good like. I'm waiting to. I mean, yeah, we're the website's not up yet, but we're gonna have everything. You know, once everything's ready and good to go, then it'll go up and it'll be ready to roll. You know,
So people can DM you at Instagram, or do you like?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like I'm always, you know, welcome to talk about strains, whatever. Like I mean, yeah, I love talking about this shit. Like that's one thing you can put me in a room and I'll talk your ear off all day. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like, and I'm always willing to learn more. You know, or like see what other people think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I really am not that like.
So many opinions out there.
Yeah,
Really,
no, and
there are
it's
so many
like-
opinions.
Yeah, no, and it's like really, and if something like I don't like it, and like people do like it, I want to know why, you know.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, it's not like really, I just like what I like. That's it, you know. But
Sure.
you know, like the Skittles, like you know, take a look at it afterwards
Yeah, we'll smoke some Skittles.
for sure, man.
Right on. Well, thank you
Well,
again.
thank you very
and,
much, dude. Appreciate it
Definitely.
for sure, bro.
Cheers. See you guys next time.
Sure.